Double Page Spread is brought to you by the fine folks at Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab, now featuring a line of essential beard oils for all the fellas who want to make your facial hair feel nice and smooth and smell good. They have Hellboy beard oils, so check that out over at blackphoenixalchemylab.com, as well as DCBS, the discount comic book service, giving you the greatest discounts each and every day, including 50% off when you pre-order all your Marvel and DC trades. And if you like listening to Double Page Spread, you want to give us a hand here, go to the Threadless store. Over Double Page Spread on Threadless, you can find the link in the show notes, and you can get t-shirts and coffee mugs and stickers and notebooks and all kinds of things. And leave us a little note over on the iTunes, a little rating, a little review, that'd be nice. Or always feel free, you can chat with me, send me an email, doublepagespread@gmail.com, or on the Twitters @doublepgspread, something like that. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Welcome back to Double Page Spread, and this is Wendi Freeman. I am here live at C2E2 from the Source Point Press booth with Mr. Travis McIntyre, the main editor-in-chief. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good, doing all right. So tell me about what the main titles are that you do at Source Point.
So our biggest title right now is probably a book called Ogre. It actually released, the first 3 issues released in September, October, November of last year, and then the trade just released in March just now. So that's one of our biggest selling titles and probably gets a lot of the attention. We also have a long-running book called Monstrous, which is one of our more popular books, and it was kind of the first book we had that did really, really well and kind of helped put us on the map. We also have one of our earliest graphic novels we ever published about 5 years ago, a book called Rotten Tail that was then optioned and turned into a feature film, and it actually hits theaters April 12th, so next month.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you predominantly do sort of like horror and darker type titles?
Horror, sci-fi, some dark stuff, some comedy, like we're doing the Twiztid signing right now, and their book, if you read it, is actually like, it has its dark bits because it's basically a ghost story, but it's also kind of silly and funny, not unlike them. It's very similar to them. It's like a more adult Scooby-Doo, so we kind of run the gamut of all that. We even have, one superhero story that we do. Like Hope, which is the free comic book paper, is a superhero story.
Cool. So you said mainly you guys release your books through conventions?
We used to, definitely. Conventions were our primary means. As we've grown, we do a lot more. Like when we first started with Diamond, we were doing 3 books a month, and now we do 10. So 10 books a month is a pretty heavy schedule. We're releasing 120 new books a year through that, and then probably another.
Trying to sign just the comics, if you have them, let's not bring photos.
A number around 50 or so probably convention-only releases also. So we're closing in. We're closing in on around 200 books a year come out. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing. Like sometimes I'm like, what is happening right now?
Do you do it?
Okay, look at my partner and I'm like, how soon before we're bankrupt? Soon, really soon. And yet we continue to persist, so it works out.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, I'm super happy for you, and I hope everybody checks out Source Point Press.
I hope so too. Thank you so much.
Hey there, welcome back. This is Wendi Freeman of Double Page Spread. I'm here at the Source Point Press booth with Twiztid, one of the a legendary Detroit rap act who have a new comic out called Haunted High Ons.
We do indeed. We're honored to have a comic book out by Source Point Press. It's an exclusive deal. We started off with a one-shot. It sold so well that we went on to a whole new series called The Darkness Rises. And
then we came to C2E2, snuck in the back doors.
We've had a little bit of problems, but nevertheless, we're here now. We're a little shaken and rattled, but nevertheless, we hope we made a lot of people happy because they made me happy. Just by coming through, seeing the smiles on the faces, and actually people relating to the product and like feeling the storyline and really getting behind it. It's a great thing. We love that.
Well, I like the fact that it's definitely it's a ghost story, it's a haunted story, but it's also very, very funny.
That's I appreciate, and that's because of Dirk. Dirk has a way with the pen. He's a pensmith, and he knows how to write a good story. And I think with Mary and Alessandro's work and everybody just all putting it together, it's a good gumbo, and it works. It works well. It's like Scooby-Doo with weed.
How collaborative was that? Like, did you have to sit with Dirk for hours to get the tone of your voice?
The idea and the concept came from Monoxide, and then he kind of talked to Dirk about it, and then they changed. You guys went back and forth for a bit.
They asked, we were bringing up movie ideas, and then somebody came with this opportunity, and we gave them that idea, and there was no back and forth. He
literally took the football play from Monoxide and he just ran and did the touchdown, and it's just been great.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about your fan base. You guys have the most loyal fan base.
We're our family.
Yeah, exactly. We call them our family because, literally without them, we would be nothing. And we know that, and we appreciate that. And it's just it's days like today and events like this when you see them come out in droves, and it really shows you how much it means. Because seriously, these people, I'm pretty sure you're aware of what they paid to get in here. And just coming through here, it's you see what I mean, right?
There's Paul Rudd and Alicia Silverstone over there, but they're standing here with us.
And that makes me feel good. No disrespect to either one of those people. They're great. They're great stars, but
just
at the same time,
put it in a perspective.
It's true. You're absolutely. But we're in the mix. How cool is that? We waited so long to be in the mix, and goddamn it, we're here, and we're happy to be so.
Yeah. So you hope that. So this book is a good jumping on point. It could bring on new people to be interested in you. And
I would like to hope so. I feel that it's that tight and it's that strong of a storyline and characters and just the art and everything. That I feel that it's that strong to keep going.
And we're characters. So
I want to be on Spider-Man 300. I want Haunted High Ons to be issue 290,000.
Right.
I just want it to be the characters are and walkers now, and they can't really hunt ghosts anymore because they're old, because they're on issue 1,000 or something. But you know what I mean? I don't ever want it to stop. It's just so cool. We've always loved comic books, and actually to be in one.
Cool. Well,
what's cooler than that?
Let's wrap up. Tell me, who's your all-time favorite comic character?
Oh my God. It's supposed to be Batman. I love Batman. Batman's my favorite superhero, but Spider-Man may be my favorite comic book character.
Wow, you heard it here first, everybody. He just sold Batman out.
I did. I
never thought I'd see it.
I did and I didn't. I said that Batman is my superhero, but Spider-Man may be my comic book hero.
Wow.
He said you said it again. Oh my, bang, 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 exclusive.
I've always had this weird connection with Shazam for some reason.
That's awesome.
And then they finally are making a movie about it. It's just very bizarre. But yes, he just seemed like the one nobody knew about. Nobody really liked him. So I was like, hey, I like that
guy. Which is crazy ironic because that one year for Halloween, we made you that Shazam suit. And it wasn't like we made it because we knew you liked it. We just made it. And it's stranger things have happened. That's really rad. I did not know that.
An affinity.
We both found out something interesting today in your interview about each other. I've known this guy my whole life.
There you go. Well, thank you so much. And good luck. And everybody check this out.
We appreciate you.
Thank you for your time.
Have a great day. Thank you. Good luck with the rest of your time.
Very much.
Hey there, welcome back to Double Page Spread. I'm your host, Miss Wendi Freeman, and tonight I am joined by writer and publisher and manager and multi-hyphenate man, Mr. Stephan Nilson.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, I'm very happy. So you are here because you have a book out. You have a new book out called Agent 1.22.
Yes, through DPM Publishing. But it's a digital comic book. We just finished the 4th issue, and we're going to collect that into a trade to actually have in print.
Nice. So, where's DPM Publishing coming from? Is that mainly just you guys, or?
Actually, it's the Angelo Panetti, Tom Deere, and Douglas Schuler. Of course, I did them. Oh, I'm sorry, David Martin did that on order, but that's the DPM. And it's all their last names. And they're the guys who actually created this character. They originally wanted it to be like an animated web series. Angelo does a lot of scoring for film and TV, and Tom is a voiceover actor. And this is a character they came up with, but they were having issues really kind of launching it as a series, web series, because after they got this story put together, they realized how big it was and the budget it would take to do something like that. So Tom had the idea of making it into a comic, and they actually started doing it more traditional art. They had another writer on board. They were into it about a year in, apparently, and things just weren't working out. And a mutual friend of ours, Carl Waller, put us in touch with each other, and they, gave me the rundown and like the Bible and the character studies and everything. And I'm a huge sci-fi buff, so I was like, yeah, I'm in. So we kind of retooled the 0 issue and started taking it from there to tell this story that they've had in place for a couple of years now. So we're just now able to get it out, which is cool, because I think actually a couple of years ago, if they would have put it out, I don't know if it would have gone as well as it's being received right now, because I think it would have been a little too Eon Flux to Aphrodite X or Aphrodite 10, vibe. But here we're able to push more of a alien big space opera type story.
You and I are just having the conversation about how confusing it is with these titles. They have like X in the title, and you don't know if it's an X or
I did it right there. Yeah. Yes.
So do you think, obviously, you have had a very tremendous past. You've worked in comics, you've worked in TV, you've managed animation houses. Was that definitely why they brought you on board, because you have such a storied sort of history in multimedia?
I don't know, honestly, if that was in play or not, because they didn't know me from Adam. Like I said, Angelo's a friend of my friend Carl Waller, and they were looking for a writer, and Carl said, talk to Stephan. And we had a couple meetings between me, Angelo, and Tom, and it was just one of those things that it hit really well. And I told him, I was like, give me the script you have, let me doctor it. If you guys like what I do, then we'll go forward. If you don't, we'll walk away, no harm, no foul, and hopefully I'll have a better script at least. And there's an extra supporting character, Matt Henning, that I just was vibing with hard. I was like, okay, I got to make sure I can get this gig, because I want to write this character. He's such a jerk, but he's I was like, and he's a perfect support character for Lindsay, or Agent 122. So really, I don't think the background had much play into it, because again, they came in from such a different background of entertainment world that they really didn't know who I was, and honestly, I didn't know who they were until I looked them up too. But I think that helped. That part helped, because it was such a clean slate that when I turned in the script to them, they immediately called me up and were like, "Yeah, let's do this." And I was like, "All right." So
it's like a blind date when you're secretly Googling each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gotta love them internets. You don't walk in anything blind anymore.
Right. Their parents' names and their full backgrounds.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it depends on how free they are with their Facebook information.
If they're smart, they're not too free.
Yeah.
Let's discuss the plot of Agent 122.
Sure. So so some of the things I can't fully tell you yet, because it's going to be told out in the story. But for the first 3 issues that are out there, you can tell that Agent 122, she's a cyborg. She had a past. She doesn't know her past at the moment. And Dr. Matt Henning, who we see that obviously has a deep connection to Agent 122, because before she became the agent, she was Lindsay, and they were engaged to be married, and then she got into this horrific accident, and this was a way to save her.
So kind of like the Bionic Woman.
Yes, yeah. I mean, for us, this is a mashup between RoboCop and Bionic Woman. Mm-hmm. Because you got more of the RoboCop template type, but a Bionic Woman type, character and story, and she had to be saved this way, and Matt basically had to give her up, in order to save her, and it's eating him up on the inside. So he's trying to, make sure that she doesn't get taken advantage of by the agency, which she's now part of. So he's become part of the agency in order to help oversee everything that's happening with her, and to make sure that he's able to protect her when she can't protect herself. Because she's obviously this physical beast of a character now. She can handle her own that way, but they've regressed her mind to a childlike state, to where she will follow orders and not rebel, and that doesn't sit well with him.
Right. Well, I mean, they've given her a teddy bear.
Yeah. The teddy bear plays a significant role in the story arc, so we make sure that it has shown up in all the visuals, and I can't give that away, obviously, but in issue 3 and issue 4, we really start to see what that's all about.
Well, also you have it kind of where she's constantly being put to sleep between missions, and they wipe her mind clean, which is sort of like a thing like Dollhouse or Winter Soldier, any of those sort of spy ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that plays it's a different dynamic, I feel like, when you're doing it with a female character, because you really are sort of erasing all of her agency.
Yeah, and wanted to play that up and show that it is this big deal, because they're not just erasing her memory, they're erasing her personality. So as we show that in issue 0, where this happens and it obviously happens after every mission, but within this opening story arc, she gets it done once, but then on the next time it doesn't happen because of the invasion on the ship, and so she starts to develop and remember things, and triggers are happening, and so it becomes very confusing for her, and for someone with her capabilities to be confused and scared, it's not good for anybody. So they're going to be, again, Matt's getting involved, the agency is getting involved, and then Menacity, which is the mothership, technically, for the pun that it is, she gets involved. The ship starts getting this parental personality to her, and she starts protecting Agent 122 against anybody that she considers an adversary, and that includes people in the agency and people that are trying to help her. But if the ship doesn't see it that way, she's going to protect her.
Right, because the ship accidentally almost refers to itself as her parent, like, several times. Yeah. So tell me about the design of the ship and what you were sort of thinking about with that. Are you really into? Is that one of your favorite parts of sci-fi stories? Is like cool ships?
Yeah, but I have to give props to Tom and Angela for the character design, because they actually came up with the intent and design of the ship, because the ship was the backstory of the ship is that it was a troop transport, but then it's been refitted to be this all-around support ship for Agent 122. So it's taking its programming, and then with Matt tweaking it with it to make it more of, again, an all-around support. It's taking its combat support to a new level of parental and because it has to take care of her medically, it has to take care of her program. So to me, in my mind, like, one of my favorite shows was Farscape. Mm-hmm. And Moya, to me, Menacity to me is, an extension of like something like Moya. It's this ship that, it's not a living ship like Moya was, but the programming is becoming more evolved and aware. And so it's going to become a character of its own.
It's like if Hal were maternal.
Yeah. It will allow Dave to do what it wants to do.
So obviously things are tricky for Matt, because he's kind of a gray area sort of character, because clearly he's given up the love of his life and is allowing her to be wiped over and over. Yet he still cares for her, yes?
Oh, deeply. Mm-hmm. To the point where it would be listed as a character flaw, because everything else he does is reasonable and methodical, and he thinks things out 3 steps ahead. But when it comes to Agent 122, he throws everything out the window. He will do what he has to do. So it totally goes against his day-to-day personality and character. So yeah, this is a big thing for him. And in any other story, he would not be the good guy. Here, he is very much the guy that kind of runs the line of, okay, he'll do this thing, which is good, but he does this other thing, which is, not good, but it's self-serving. And, he definitely is a selfish character, but until it comes to her, he sacrifices everything for her.
And I assume we're gonna delve deeper into the agency and how shadowy is the agency.
Yeah, that's the second story arc is all about that because the first story arc wraps up with issue 4, and then she's Menacity and is heading back to the agency, and so the second story arc takes place all in the agency, and a lot of the backstory gets opened up. We know why the agency exists, why they have this program, everything that is happening to Earth and all the other colony planets is explained and showcased here, and that pushes Agent 122 and Matt to their a critical decision point in their story. And we I can't say too much on this, but we get to see the other major players that are affecting the story and being the protagonist and antagonist.
When we open up the story, there is some sort of plague virus, and they're sending her in. Obviously, it makes sense because she's a cyborg; she can't be infected or whatever. So obviously, we're gonna learn about that plague virus. Yes, like will we find out how it began?
Yes, that is actually why we find out the backstory of that, and that leads into the agency's creation. I can say that much. It's about as much as I can say. So, but yeah, there is something going on there, and it becomes a critical part of the storyline for the second story arc.
Let's talk about the art style and what Douglas Schuler is doing in this book, because it's very sort of digital looking.
Yes.
Yeah. So was it intended to be sort of video gamey looking or?
Yeah. Well, when they first started, they were doing traditional art, but then they contacted Doug, I can't remember if Tom or which one, and I think Angelo knew him, but Douglas is well known through like Magic the Gathering and does a lot of that type of art, and he was really pumped up on doing this 3D modeling type look and then bringing it into Photoshop and painting it. Just like my script, the guys were interested to see it, but because they originally started as a web series animation. So Doug did a couple page breakdown, and there was no looking back for these guys. So for me, it was reminiscent of like the old Batman book from the late '80s when they did the digital Batman.
Yes, book. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and the first, and it's gotten. I've warmed up to it more because this was a little, jarring for me at first. I was like, ooh, because I'm such a traditionalist in comic books, and
right.
I was like, yeah, and because there were some scenes where just gorgeous, and there were other scenes like, it felt a little stiff, and but Doug is, each issue is just come into it so well, and he's doing more of a, he does the modeling, and I think he uses Poser as the software he uses to make the characters and everything, and then he imports that into Photoshop and then paints on everything. Huh. So as we've gotten now, especially with issue 3 and what he's turning for issue 4, it's becoming a significantly more of a painted style than just a straight up 3D graphic. But everyone looks at it, and the first thing to see is like video game cutscenes or a cool 3D like animation from like back when they did the Animatrix, that type of thing. And that fits right into the wheelhouse of what these guys originally wanted to create. They're currently talking to a producer about making it into a video game, which is really cool because again, it fits right into it now.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely it definitely looks like it's steered towards being a video game, very much. Although that's interesting with the painter, that he's painting over it. But I mean, the thing I loved was I like the way it looks when it's shots of the ship, or when it's shots of like there's that one like mech thing that she fights. I like I like it very much when when he's using it with mechanical stuff, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the skin tone still is something that he's getting better and working at, but it does still have that kind of plastic feel from time to time, especially on the close shots, but like mid shots and far shots, he's able to tone it down a little bit and make it look more skin tone than kind of that plastic feel. So
I mean, I suppose you can justify that with, well, she's a cyborg. you know?
Well, yeah, for her, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Synthetic skin anyway, but yeah. But yeah, like, Matt and Angela and Ray, all of them, like Ray in issue 3, there's some scenes where she looks great, and then there's just a couple panels, and that's me being nitpicky too. If I had full control of the world, everything would be right? But yeah, as a person who can't do it, I don't complain much. Yeah, because I'm really enjoying what he's giving me from my story description. Because there's some times where I'm sure he's, looking at the script, cursing at me, going, "Yeah, that's not going to happen." So, but yeah, I'm really warming up to the art style. I think it's awesome, and if it does become a video game, I'm sure they're going to be able to pull his 3D modeling, and it's just going to look perfect to the comic book.
So we should stick with it then, definitely, because we're saying he's sort of evolving with this style. Yeah,
like if you look at issue 3, the fight scene between Kat and the agent, like especially when he does that close up where she's wearing the knuckles, the brass knuckles. That face is just. I had it as my phone screensaver for a while. It's just so pretty. The glossiness on the eyes and the depth and the shadow around the nose and everything. It's just such a good image. So like you said, there's some pages where he may have rushed or whatever, and I don't want to be critical on a guy I'm working with because again, I love his work. Right. But I do that with every artist I work with. I'm kind of the jerk. It's like, it doesn't match what's in my brain completely, but I can't put pencil to paper anyway, so I need to learn when to shut up.
Right.
So, but yeah. So yeah, I definitely would tell people to stick with it. I know it's different than most of the comic book medium out there, but it's a great story. Does some awesome visuals to it. So it depends on what side of the comic book fan you are, whether you follow writers or follow artists. If you're a guy who follows artists, this is something that's going to really be new to you, and I think appeal to you, like seeing something this new and unique.
Yeah. Well, that's what comics are all about, diversity and style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. What sets Agent apart from something like Ghost in the Shell?
Wow, you put me on the spot because here's a confession. I've never read or seen Ghost in the Shell.
You've had like 3 different times now.
Oh man, give me another sci-fi.
Okay. What sets her apart aside from other sort of I'm trying to think of other sort of like Aeon Flux, sort of sexy cyborg future ladies.
All right, I can do that one. Actually, that was kind of a big discussion point when I first came on board because my favorite comic books and Angela's and Tom's favorite comic books are on opposite spectrums. They love Aphrodite 10, and things like that. They love the sexy women comic books. Me, I like my heroes to be able to do whatever they can do in jeans and a jacket if necessary.
Well, there are certainly some scenes where she's fighting naked in
that. We may have to edit out that conversation because that was.
Oh shit! Okay, sorry.
No. I'll be happy to talk about it. I'm just joking. That actually became a really big issue for me because that wasn't in the script, and when I saw the art for it, I wasn't thrilled by it because I was like, "Why are we doing it? It doesn't serve the story." And it even got to the point because in the next issue, I wrote she was doing all this stuff, and that put Doug in a precarious spot because he had to have her do all this stuff without showing any nudity.
Right, because there's some nipple blurs and so forth,
yeah.
Right?
And they came back to me like, how do we fix this? I'm like, redo the art from the last story to say she's not naked or figure something out. I mean, you steered completely away from what I had going on. I can't help you there, without a time machine because I don't know. So, quickly, I made a quick change to where, the Medibot and the Sanibot take her down to the medical bay where they can get her into a gown at least. But that still left her with like 4 or 5 pages of a fight scene with, it's like, sorry, Doug, you're going to have to, put arms in the way or, smoke and things like that. So, Yeah, that was a tough couple of days of back and forth on that because I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if you're not gonna, because unfortunately, I think that by that point it was too late to have Doug go back and redo the pages, because I think that they had. I try to stay hands off. I mean, this is my creation. I mean, I love writing it and I love the character, but when it's all said and done, it's not my character, so they have final say. So, the book. I think the book was ready to go to print when I finally saw it. Oops, sorry.
Sorry.
So that was, like I said, that was a heated issue, but we got through it. And but yeah, even in the beginning, I wanted her to be in something like I'm such a practical person when it comes to like my warriors and soldiers, was in the military and all that. So having somebody like in armor that's there obviously to look better than to actually serve a purpose always bothers me. So having the navel exposed, I never understood that. But then they came back and explained it to me like they wanted it there to prove that she was human because she has a belly button. I was like, okay, that's kind of, that's sure. At that point I was like, okay, this isn't the amount I want to, you guys can have it. Again, it's the character design you have, because I do like the look of her armor. I just wish it was, one piece. Not to go back to my show Farscape, which I love, but like Claudia Black in that,
Right. Yeah.
like, yeah, I wouldn't mess with her. I wouldn't mess with that character. But the most skin she really ever showed, except for was a tank top. But she always had the black pants on, the boots, and she looked hardcore and sexy at the same time. So, again, that was an argument I lost on that and moved on. So for the most part, moving forward, I think we've all agreed though that we keep her in more realistic armor and outfits. We don't need her running around naked. She can be sexy without being naked.
Well, it's such an interesting topic because, we live in this era where, like, they'll do things like put a jacket on Vampirella or something. And meanwhile, it's like, Vampirella is not a character, like, she's existed for so long that, like, putting a jacket on her is weird, So,
yeah, and quite honestly, like, if it fits the character, like someone like Vampirella and to promote Aftershock, Camille and Dark Red,
yes.
those are characters that use sex as a weapon. And so it's appropriate for that character to do that because they use that as a way to drop the guard of other people, and but just to visually do it, if it doesn't help the story, I have issues with it.
Right, there was a Red Sonja issue recently where they justified why she has a chainmail bikini, and I forget, it was like she just wanted to be lighter weight or something. There's something like that, and I was like, on the one hand, I felt like it was kind of clunky to shoehorn that conversation in, but on the other hand, it's like, well, I mean, she's Red Sonja. She can wear what she wants.
Yeah. I mean, sure, if it works for you, go for it. But again, I would rather have seen like a story show her wearing full chainmail and having it get caught on something and her just doing that screw this and like pulling off part of it or whatever, or deciding that there's a necessity for her, but not just like you said, clunkily put it into the dialogue.
Like the famous clunky Power Girl, like why she has the boob window. It's like because people ask these questions for so long, like sometimes you feel like you have to explain it, and I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes it just needs to be done, I guess.
I'm sorry, I've gone off on this tangent.
Oh no, I mean, I could talk on this topic for a while because I'm the same way with like a lot of the characters. Like I'll look at it and so especially if I pick up on my go into my long box to the 90s.
Oh yes.
And like really, these shoulder pads, what are the point? And or the headgear and
the Rob Liefeld like the thing that looks like the boxing headgear, the prophet look. Yeah.
There's so many characters in the 90s that had such bad because like one of my favorite character designs, and it's from the 90s and it worked for was Superboy after the death of Superman.
Oh yes, yeah.
And to this, well, I can't say to this day because I haven't really I'm so behind in my comic reading. But up until recently, Superboy's always had like one of my favorite looks because he's just in jeans, shirt, jacket, maybe, or jeans, he's just there to do his job. And characters like that, and again, it's not and they made it an iconic look for him still. Like The Boys, Garth Ennis's book.
Yeah, have you seen the trailer for that?
Oh, yeah, actually, my buddy of mine, Charles, just showed it to me the other day. I was like, oh, how did I miss this? I mean, I knew it was coming, but I totally missed the trailer for like a week. But yeah, totally digging on it.
Well, I think it was overshadowed by that little Star Wars thing.
Oh, yeah.
It might have been overshadowed that week by new trailers.
Yeah, you're right. That was a thing, wasn't it?
That little Avengers thing. It might have been overshadowed by that. I'm not sure.
But yeah, I'm a huge fan of ordinary people doing extraordinary things and not necessarily having to call attention to themselves. And so, like, when people do it in a practical way and they still make a story good, I'm in it like till the end. I mean, even when if it goes bad, I'll still follow it to the end just because, you got me at the beginning. So,
my favorite comic character of all time is Jack Knight from Starman. And he's another dude who just chose to wear a leather jacket and like a bowling shirt,
Yeah, it was such a good look, and they made it work on that character too, because it was his personality, it fit, and he had his goggles, Yeah,
it's only, I feel like you can get away with it if you have like one defining sort of accessory, you give somebody a star rod and some goggles or something, and boom, it's a costume.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Agreed. Underwear doesn't need to be on the outside of the tights. We're good.
I don't want a whole universe of people like this, but give me a smattering of one or two, and it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not. I still dig my Justice League characters and stuff like that. It's just like I said, if you're gonna try to put them into a character, for me, and I'll get off my soapbox after this, I promise.
No, it's all right.
The character's in a very world that's kind of connected to the real world. I mean, even sci-fi stuff like that. Just if you're going to be paramilitary or something like that, follow a certain rule. Because the military is never going to throw somebody out in tights and a cape and say go get them. So at the same time, they're going to give the proper equipment. And she's cyborg, I get it. The appendages aren't. Yeah, I'm going back to my character, man. I can't believe I'm doing this. But
no, we're here to talk about the book, so of course.
Yeah. But just saying, I mean, like, I prefer characters that are practically outfitted. Give them, and you can still make it look good, and make it iconic. But man, I gotta stop bashing my character. Again, I love Agent 122. There's just little things that I'd love to tweak. Moving on.
In the press for Agent 122, it says it's the cornerstone of a franchise. So where is this going?
Oh, boy, I'm not sure how much I can tell on that without giving it away.
It's in the homepage.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't talk about the because after the second arc, when the universe gets opened up, without giving the spoilers away, there will be other characters from that story arc are going to have their stories being told, and because the universe really opens up in the second story arc. We're no longer just it's no longer just Agent 122 and Matt and what they're doing. We get to see what they're part of, and then that branches out. I hope I got that right, Tom and Angela. If not, I'll come back with a correction. But yeah, from what I know, what they have planned, like I said, the universe really opens up, and there are other stories to be told. So, to give a comparison, going back to old school Valiant when they kind of expanded the universe and brought in like Hardcorps and stuff like that. Think like that. So, yeah, she's the 22nd. So, she's not the first, and she won't be the last.
I was saying before about how it reminds me of Valiant with Ninjak, about how I never know if it's pronounced Ninjak or Ninja K, because it was Ninjak, but then they introduced that there's like Ninja A through J or whatever. So it's the same thing. It's like, is it 1.22 or
Yeah, I never. Yeah, that caught me by surprise too, because I always thought it was Ninjak, and then Ninja. Oh, okay.
Once you put that dash in there, it throws everything off.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm betting money that was a hindsight change, but still, it's all right.
It pushes the story along.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do it.
Let's talk about your other job over at Aftershock. So, Aftershock Comics is one of the hottest companies right now. You put out a lot of really good books. You put out a Dark Arc, which I've talked about in the past, Insects, which is one of my favorites, Alters, Babyteeth. Let's talk about what you do as publishing operations manager.
It's a lot of cat wrangling. I mean, I work with the marketing department, and I also work in the publishing side. So my biggest thing, I would say, is the alternate covers. So I work with the editors and even the stores when they're going to do store exclusive, help them find artists that would match the storyline, and then work with the artist to come up with the cool cover concept when they need it. Sometimes they come in and like, oh yeah, I got an idea, and they would just go crazy, and makes my job easier. I used to do a lot of pre-press stuff, but I've handed that off now, so mainly focusing on cover art and working with the retailers to get them interested into the comics more, or our comics, how we can help them increase sales and find more interest into our books.
How soon do you make cover artists work on the cover? Like before the actual, do you release the synopsis of the issue of them, or do you just have them do something cool in general?
Oh no, I try to avoid the cool in general thing as much as possible. But sometimes it does come in early. Like for example, we have a book we announced, a new Cullen Bunn book, Knight's Temporal. And it's a July book, but I've already got Mike Ruth working on a lenticular cover for that one. And
speaking of the '90s, we're going back.
Well, I'm not a fan of doing 13 covers per book, like Gen 13, but I was a fan. I was a fan of some of the sweet cover. Like today, my favorite is one of everyone's most hated, Superman 30. I love color forms growing up, and having a comic book with color forms on it, that was a dream come true for me.
Wait,
I still got it here.
Did you like Presto Magics?
Oh yeah, Frank and Presto Magic, color forms.
Yes,
those were my Saturdays growing up. Let me tell you.
I love Presto Magics and color forms and fashion plates, where you'd rub the crayon thing over it, and you'd make a different outfit.
Oh man. Now I know what I'm going to do this afternoon. I want to play with my toys.
If you're still playing with Presto Magics and color forms, you're calling me over.
Yeah, like I said, I got my Superman 30 where I do my color forms on that, have Lobo and Superman fighting all the time. It's still today my favorite goofy cover. But yeah, we did on this one, because we knew how big this story was coming out of Cullen. Yeah. Joe and I started talking about, what could we do? And I was like, lenticular, please. And I did the last lenticular we did was Babyteeth with Mike Ruth as well. And it was, a huge, huge success for Frankie's Comics. So I was like, yeah, we need to do that in-house, have it for us. We give it out, as a special to the retailers. And they bought onto it. And the cover that Mike has turned in is just freaking fantastic. The storyline for that book is, the character Augustus is more or less an immortal because he's a knight through time. And so cover A shows him back in the early medieval times, and then cover B is a modern day time, but he replaces his horse with a motorcycle. And Mike killed it. It's awesome. The art for that's going to be released here in, I think, 2 weeks. So everyone will get a chance to see that and salivate over it. So I want to say Mike Ruth's name one more time because he's an awesome artist and everybody needs to hire him as much as possible.
So what do you guys, we have Free Comic Book Day, obviously it's coming out this Saturday. So what does Aftershock have planned for Free Comic Book Day?
Well, the book that we're giving out is Animosity Tales. Marguerite Bennett did another one shoot, kind of like a typical Free Comic Book Day book. It gives a summary of what's happened in the Animosity storylines up to now, and has a short story in there that's new to the book. And yeah, if you're either already reading Animosity or have been interested in it, it's a great book to pick up because it's free, but it'll get you right in, so you can jump in at any point on either title and know what's going on. We have several different stores where we've got creators making appearances. If you go to the Aftershock website, we actually have a store locator on the front page there telling you where we're going to be for Free Comic Book Day. So people can just jump on there. I think it would be the easiest way to find out where we're going to be, because we've got some signings going on in LA. I believe we have one in Chicago, New York, Boston, and Orlando, I believe. But I'd have to go to the website myself to double check on that.
Cool. So give us a little taste. What are some of the hottest books you think from Aftershock? What are like 3 titles that everybody should check out?
Definitely Dark Red. That one is so much fun. Animosity is another. I mean, it's just, again, a great concept that I kick myself every day for going, why did I not think of that one?
What is Animosity? What's it about? I'm not reading that at the moment.
It's the most adorable apocalypse ever. There's the moment where all the animals become sentient and start thinking and talking, and depending on the type of animal and how long their normal lifespan is how quickly they actually age, and at this point, how intelligent they are. So it quickly becomes a struggle for humans and animals to survive, because things that used to be on the menu are now speaking and talking, and basically are fighting to have rights. So some of the animals are working with the people. Some of the animals want to see the people go. But that's the overall story. The personal story on that is the main character, Jessie, and her dog, Sandor. She gets separated from her parents, and Sandor has sworn to get her to San Francisco to her brother. So the story that you follow is their journey from New York to San Francisco and everything that's happening to them in between. And Animosity, Their Eyes is the brother's story. So basically the stories are taking place at the same time, and they will eventually become a crossover into the end story.
Nice. Well, I like Marguerite Bennett a lot, so I like insects. I think people should definitely always be checking that out. Cool. That sounds great. Is there anything we want to wrap up with? Anything you want to tell people to definitely go do, or where are you on social media? How can we read Agent 1.22?
Well, the easiest way on that one is to go to dpmpublishing.com, or actually go to agent122comics.com. And you can get right there on the front page are all the links to where you can find the book. It's on pretty much every digital platform, from Comixology to Apple. And if you want a print copy, it's available through Indie Planet on a print-on-demand type status. As far as following me, I'm kind of a social media hermit. I do social media for so many other people and companies that I tend to ignore it for myself. So unless my cat or dog are doing something adorable, and then I'll take a picture of that and put it on Instagram. But you can look me up on either by my name, Stephan Nilson, on Facebook, or Semi-Procrastinator on Twitter, and Semi-Procrastinator on Instagram. But again, don't expect much. I'm doing it for other people, so I prefer not to, air my stuff on the internet.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. So, if everybody will, buy one copy of Agent 122, I'd love it. And as far as Aftershock goes, get out for Free Comic Book Day and pick up that Animosity title and pre-order Knight's Temporal.
Cool. Thank you.